as a 17-year-old girl, goes to Romania to help orphans, somehow finds herself in the middle of a horrific scandal involving those.
At the same time, reports out there saying that the mission that she sent over there was forced out of Romania because places where her ministry was going, children were disappearing.
Brand new footage just surfaced, and it shows Erica talking about rented babies, and the internet instantly lit up. People online are no longer staying quiet. Critics are now openly questioning whether the whole story about Erica and Charlie's children was ever exactly what the public was told in the first place. Viewers digging through old interviews noticed something strange in the timeline. Erica once explained that she had 2 C-sections and wasn't even sure she wanted more kids. But after Charlie passed, the story suddenly shifted. She later claimed she had always dreamed of having 4 children. That sharp change has many people raising eyebrows and asking serious questions. Then there's the photo timeline that followers keep pointing out. Some images posted online don't seem to match the dates when the children were reportedly born. And here's the part that really has people talking. In a world where influencers document everything, there are absolutely 0 public pregnancy photos anywhere, not a single one. Erica says she chose to keep both pregnancies completely private, and that is absolutely her decision.
Erica's taking care of Erica's children. She has a 3 and a 4-year-old. I am a single mother. I was divorced when my children were very young, and I work full time, just like Erica Kirk. So I'm not saying, oh, you can't be a mother and work full time. So don't come in my comments with that bullshit. A lot of us out here work full time and raise kids. There's a shit ton of single moms out in the world and single dads. 2 weeks after Charlie Kirk's assassination, she was already on the road.
But critics online argue that it feels a little off compared to how open she has been about so many other personal moments before and after those years. That contrast alone has people looking closer at the timeline and asking more questions. Now this is where the speculation online really starts blowing up. Some people say if any part of the rented baby rumor were somehow true, and right now it is still just internet talk, it would raise huge questions about what Charlie actually knew at the time. Because hiding 2 pregnancies from a spouse would be extremely difficult for anyone to pull off. So people online keep landing on 2 possibilities. Either the internet completely misunderstood the situation, or there are details about the story that simply have not been shared publicly yet. And that is exactly why this old clip about baby rentals suddenly has everyone talking again. The video itself is not new at all. It actually comes from 2015 and shows Erica on a set filming a project. The caption on the post reads, "The perk of playing a young mom TV role, hourly baby rentals." Now to be fair, that line could mean absolutely nothing. On film sets, actors often work with babies during scenes. She could have simply been joking about getting paid to hold adorable babies while filming.
And one of her exes was very clear. He said to me, I was warned by another person in beauty pageant world that girl will do anything to get to the top and her mother will do anything to help her get to the top.
I love submitting to Charlie because he's a phenomenal leader. And the way that he loves me, melts me to want to be able to help. How can I help you?
It was always a lie. She worked for TPUSA, she co-hosted sometimes with Charlie, and she even made content of her own. Once he died, she immediately took his role as the head of TPUSA.
But here's the problem. After everything that has surfaced over the years, that hourly baby rentals caption hits very differently now. What once sounded like a simple behind-the-scenes joke suddenly feels a lot more suspicious to some people watching this story unfold online. Now, the internet is connecting dots at lightning speed. Viewers are asking whether that hourly baby rentals line was truly just about acting on set, or if it somehow ties into rumors that started spreading years later. No one has proven anything, but the speculation has definitely picked up steam. Things really escalated when people noticed one detail that seemed small at first, but quickly became a massive talking point. There are no clear pregnancy photos of Erica anywhere online. Not one widely shared image showing a visible pregnancy bump. And in a world where influencers document nearly everything, coffee runs, workouts, doctor visits, that absence stands out to a lot of observers. There is one short clip circulating that supposedly shows Erica during an ultrasound appointment, but even that video has sparked debate. Some viewers claim the sonogram screen shows the name Erica Fran Vey instead of Erica Kirk.
This is an insult to Charlie because it implies he had nothing, it did not have their affairs in order at all. Like he just had kids and was just like, oh, well, if anything happens to me, I hope my wife is able to assume my role. No, Charlie always had his financial house in order.
And that detail immediately raised eyebrows across social media. Critics also point out another thing they noticed. Many sonogram images usually include the mother's date of birth under the name, yet that detail does not appear clearly in the clip being shared online. And then there is the formatting question. In many medical records, the last name typically appears first, followed by the first name. Some viewers are wondering why the format in this image looks different. Maybe it means nothing at all. Maybe it is completely normal. But once online detectives start stacking these little details together, they say the situation begins to look a bit unusual. Individually, each of these details might not seem like a huge deal. But when people online start putting them all together, that's when curiosity really takes off. That's exactly why the internet keeps digging deeper into the timeline and the explanations being shared. So let's look at Erica's explanation for the missing pregnancy photos. She says she chose to stay out of the public eye during both pregnancies for privacy reasons.
Intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed. I was growing a human inside of me.
All of you are in my comment section saying that these are not Erica and Charlie Kirk's children.
And I was praying to God that I was pregnant when he got murdered.
Oh, wow.
That's the statement she has given. But critics online say that explanation raises more questions than answers. Here's the part they keep pointing out. If the goal was total privacy, why completely hide the pregnancies but later post things like a used pregnancy test, hospital room photos, and pictures holding the newborns? That contrast is exactly what people are debating across social media right now. Some voices online argue that you cannot call it complete privacy while still sharing selective moments that help shape the public story the way you want it told. In their view, it feels more like choosing what the audience gets to see rather than staying fully private. And another question keeps popping up in discussions. When has Erica ever really lived a low-profile life? She has spent years around modeling, reality TV, and public media circles. For critics, that history does not exactly match someone who normally avoids attention.
Years later, she's allegedly recognized by an eyewitness at Fort Huachuca just 2 days before her husband's assassination. Husband who began to voice his opinions about Epstein very loudly and frankly.
Critics are now looking closely at Erica's behavior after Charlie's reported situation, and many of them say the pattern does not match someone who suddenly wants total silence or privacy. They point out that this is the same woman who shared very emotional footage during an extremely painful public moment and who also allowed memorial merchandise connected to Charlie to be sold. There were even reports about a replica-style setup linked to the event where attendees could take photos. Supporters say it was meant as a tribute to honor his legacy. But critics online argue the entire situation still felt very public. In their view, it did not look private at all. Because of that, people are now questioning the logic behind the privacy explanation. If someone is comfortable being highly visible during emotional and intense public moments, critics wonder how likely it is that the same person quietly disappeared for 9 straight months, twice, without a single candid pregnancy photo ever surfacing.
What do you miss most? How are his parents doing? Because his parents are private. We saw them for the first time at the funeral.
Yes.
You did such a beautiful job there. How are all of y'all doing? You talk a little bit about the kids, but how's your mom doing? I mean, I know she's devastated for you.
My mom is Charlie and my mom. Well, Charlie's family's there. Everyone's hanging in there. We're doing the best to be expected. My mom and Charlie, they were best friends. I would always say that Charlie was her favorite child. Oh. But the thing that was so special about our Sabbath dinners was that it wasn't about religious protocol.
That debate has been heating up all over social media, and things escalated even more when Candace Owens mentioned that an eyewitness allegedly spotted Erica at Fort Chuka. That claim immediately pushed the online speculation in a completely new direction. Then another twist appeared in the timeline. A spokesperson named Andrew Colt released a photo saying it proved Erica was home with her children on September 8th. The image was supposed to settle the rumors and clear the air quickly. But instead of calming things down, it did the exact opposite. The moment that photo hit the internet, people began zooming in and analyzing every tiny detail they could find. Online critics quickly zoomed in on one specific detail in that photo: the little boy standing there. Many viewers started claiming he appears closer to 3 or 4 years old, not a toddler under 2. That observation is what kicked off another round of intense debate online. Here's where the timeline issue comes into play. Based on the public dates that were shared, Charlie's son was reportedly born in May 2024. If that timeline is correct, the child in the September photo would have been about 16 months old at the time the picture was taken. But critics online say the child in the image appears more developed than what they would expect for a 16-month-old. Even if a child is tall or grows quickly, some viewers argue the difference they see looks bigger than that. That visual detail alone sparked a whole new wave of speculation across social media.
You are marrying a man that is not capable of completely and totally handling the finances, that you should not marry that man. Finances will break a marriage quicker than anything else, period. But
what if he checks all of the boxes? He just is horrible at money. And you're really good at money.
It doesn't matter.
Then people started paying attention to something else during interviews. Erica often speaks warmly about her daughter and shares stories or little moments about her. But when it comes to her son, viewers say his name and personal stories seem to come up far less often in public conversations. Supporters say that detail means absolutely nothing. Every parent talks about their children differently. But critics claim the contrast still stands out to them. And the timeline questions continue from there. When Charlie was still alive, Erica explained that she had C-sections for both children and said those surgeries made her unsure about having more kids. That hesitation is completely understandable because C-sections are major medical procedures with serious recovery time. However, the part that caught people's attention online was how she described that uncertainty. She once explained that one of her worries during the C-section was the thought of Charlie possibly seeing her organs during the surgery. That comment caught a lot of attention online. Critics say that when most women talk about C-sections, the conversation usually centers around healing, pain, recovery, or the physical toll of the procedure, not that specific concern. Supporters quickly pushed back, saying every person processes surgery and fear in their own way, and there is no single normal reaction. But critics argue the explanation still sounded unusual, considering the situation being discussed. Because of that, people online began stacking everything together: the timeline, the photo that was shared as an alibi, and Erica's past interviews. And once the internet starts lining up dates, screenshots, and quotes side by side like that, the questions do not slow down. They multiply fast. That same comment about worrying over Charlie seeing her organs during surgery has been replayed again and again by critics who say it stands out. But this is where the story takes another turn. Fast forward to now, and Erica says she and Charlie always wanted 4 children. The hesitation she previously described about more pregnancies, especially after C-sections, now seems to have quietly faded from the conversation. Many online voices are pointing out that contrast. Before, the message sounded like uncertainty about growing the family. Now the story is framed as if having a large household had always been the dream. Supporters say people are allowed to change their minds over time. Critics argue the narrative feels different from what was said before. And since Charlie passed, many viewers say Erica has been presenting herself very strongly around one identity: motherhood as her highest calling. She often warns young women not to wait too long to have children and strongly promotes the idea that family should come first. That message is something she repeats often in interviews and public talks. But critics online are now questioning that message. They ask a simple but emotional question. If motherhood is truly the most important role in her life, wouldn't that mean stepping away from the spotlight for a while and focusing fully on her children, especially after they lost their father in such a painful and traumatic situation? That's the emotional point many people keep coming back to during these discussions. Supporters argue that grief looks different for everyone, and every parent balances responsibilities in their own way. There is no single correct way to handle something that difficult. Critics, however, say the public messaging sometimes feels out of sync with the expectations being promoted. They point to the contrast between earlier statements, the evolving story over time, and the powerful public image being presented today. That gap is exactly why the conversation keeps gaining traction online. Another detail people keep mentioning is that Erica is rarely seen publicly with her children. Supporters say that proves nothing at all. Many parents simply choose not to show their kids on social media, and that decision deserves respect. But critics continue raising a practical question. With constant travel, interviews, speaking appearances, and photo events across the country, some wonder how much time she realistically spends at home. Right after Charlie passed, Erica was announced as the CEO of Turning Point. There was no long break or slow transition. She stepped straight into full leadership mode. Since then, her schedule has looked nonstop. Conferences, panels, strategy meetings, and constant public appearances, all pushing that powerful girl boss image forward. At the same time, Erica often tells young women to step away from chasing careers and instead focus fully on family life. That message has become a big part of what she promotes publicly. But critics say this is where the contradiction starts to stand out. Before she ever met Charlie, Erica had already launched several businesses and pursued higher education. She didn't get married or have children until she was in her 30s. Because of that timeline, some critics argue that her own life path doesn't completely match the message she now pushes so strongly. Supporters push back on that criticism and say people grow, mature, and sometimes change their beliefs over time. They say it is completely normal for someone's priorities to shift as life moves forward. Critics, however, claim the messaging feels selective. That is why so many people online say something about the story feels off to them. On one side, there is the version shared on stage: faith, family, sacrifice, and traditional values being emphasized loudly. Then there is the version critics say they are watching unfold in real time: leadership power, national visibility, and a rapidly growing public platform. The deeper people dig into old interviews, photos, and timelines, the more divided the conversation becomes. Some are even asking a much bigger question now. Was the entire public narrative carefully built from the very beginning, including the marriage itself? Right now, that remains a theory being debated online. Whether it turns out to be speculation or something more, one thing is clear: this story is not slowing down anytime soon. If you made it this far, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is all just coincidence, or could there be more happening behind the scenes? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can join the conversation.